competitor and finishes the game and made the play when he had to make it.
What do you tell your guys after this game when they played so well but just came up just short?
Well, you tell them that you're proud of them because they battled their butt off, and they came off a rough week, and they came into a hostile environment and played extremely well. And nobody, I understand, we want to come out on top and have more points than them at the end of the day. But those guys put themselves in position to win the ball game, and they played extremely hard and gave everything that they had. So we're proud of them.
As you're watching the two-point play develop, are you liking everything you're seeing up until the
What'd you think?
incompletion?
Did you see it?
Yes, sir.
I liked it. What do you want me to say?
No.
What's the question?
No, you're fine. Was that the top of your list as far as which call you would have you wanted to make?
If there was another play at the top of the list, I would have called it. You always want the top of the list play for your two-point play.
You signed Chuba Hubbard, if I remember right, kind of on the basis of being a track guy who played a little bit of football. You know what I mean? How much has he developed as a football athlete? Just since you got.
Well, I mean, I think
a lot of guys would have fumbled on that
when
play,
you look at his film, you know, you don't see a track guy going back to when we recruited him. You see a football player. I mean, you saw physicality. You saw all the traits that you needed to see from a tailback. So there wasn't any, guessing, and hoping that he was also a tough guy that liked football. He just so happened to run track as well.
I mean, I'm not defending it, or it's none of my business, but I'm just saying I think a lot of guys would have fumbled the ball on that play because that was a vicious collision. But you're right.
He'll learn how to secure it better.
How much does not having justice change the way you call the game, if at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Did it knock the breath out of you, though, if you ever got, like, word in your headset that he's not going to be back for you?
Well, you can't. I don't think that can happen to you. As you move on down the road, you feel for the guy you want him to play in Bedlam, and so your heart goes out. But you have a duty and responsibility, and that's called the next play. I mean, and let's think about how to move the ball forward. And we have a really good running back core, and Coach Wozniak does a hell of a job preparing those guys. So there's a lot of trust in that.
I have to go back and verify, but I know I'm right. Cornelius was at his best on do or die downs today. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Third downs.
Yeah.
And that play at the end.
Well, he did really good. I mean, he's a gutsy player, and I think we had a great plan on third down, and he executed it well. Our receivers got open. I mean, talk about one thing. You want to talk about protection, man. I mean, we threw the ball 54 times, I think, and maybe more than that, 54 attempts, and 2 sacks. I mean, that's a good defense, and that's a good front, and you got to give a lot of credit to our offensive line, guys.
It seems like his vision has opened up over the last few games. He's spread the ball around the field more. Is that just a matter of experience and maturity?
I think any time more snaps are going to help you. I mean, just ask a guy like Tom Brady or Drew Brees that's been playing in the NFL for 20-something years. And I think that's the key to a lot of quarterback success is that the more reps you get, the better you're going to be. And that's why I think there's a lot of success with some certain NFL teams or college teams when the quarterback happens to be a 4-year guy or a 5th-year guy, or a quarterback happens to be in the same system for X amount of years, right? The changing of the guard, that's going to draw from that. I think there's always a place and time for it, but the consistency and the gradual improvement, it's like if you looked at it as a graph, you know what I mean? Over time, you want to see a steady incline, and there's going to be some dips, and you have to understand that, with how you measure quarterback success. If you're going to measure it and just say, hey, he's had a bad game and yank him, you're going to ride that wave, and you're going to go down that slippery slope of really not giving a guy a chance to prove where he's at and how much he can improve. And that's not an easy thing to do, especially this day and age. Because we want to win. you know, and we want to have success, but those are the tricky things. And you know, it's great to coach for a guy that's been a quarterback and to have a tremendous amount of experience on the offensive side of the ball, because you don't make those decisions alone.
Yeah.
You know, and we've done a good job discussing and thinking about it. But at the end of the day, proud of that young man.
How did you feel about the way Chuba played in relief for Justin?